This is the biggest thing to happen on Morning Radio on ELBC. This morning, like I announced, my guest is the Assistant Internal Affairs Minister for Research and Development Planning, D. Emmanuel Wanyu. Quite familiar name, been around, been in this studio a couple of times, but we thought to invite him because he's in a new position, and also the Ministry of Internal Affairs has been through so many activities of recent, the implementation of the Local Government Act, and the election of the chiefs, the Council of Chiefs and Elders. We have a new chief now and all that, but he will talk us through the essence of the Internal Affairs Ministry, this new dispensation, new government, new Minister of Internal Affairs, new leadership at the Ministry of Internal Affairs, and just, putting in context the essence of the Local Government Act of 2018. Minister Wanyu, I'd like to say good morning, and it's a pleasure to have you on the show this morning. How are you?
I'm okay. Good morning, my dear brother Vavli. Good morning to our listeners out there, to the Minister of Internal Affairs who's listening via the internet, our deputy ministers, my immediate boss, Edward K. Moba, the Deputy Minister for Research and Development Planning, all of our deputy ministers. Now I mentioned my boss, I need to mention the other three. So for public awareness too, public information, the Deputy Minister for Administration, Honorable Samuel F. Brown, Fode Brown, Deputy Minister for Operations, Honorable Selena Posin Mapi, okay. The Deputy Minister for Urban Affairs, Honorable Ellen O. Pratt. There are 4 deputy ministers and 8 assistant ministers at the Ministry of Internal Affairs, and the host of others who are listening. Yeah. Our county superintendents and local government officers, I will say good morning, and good morning to everyone listening to us this morning.
Great. I mean, with that, you have enough knowledge about the Ministry of Internal Affairs, how it works. You've been there. Tell us about the Internal Affairs Ministry now, and what's the status of that ministry and the local government as well.
So, thank you. What is now the Ministry of Internal Affairs has evolved. So, in 1864, the body now called the Ministry of Internal Affairs was established under the Department of Justice. Then it was just a little unit called the parish, and the intent was to manage tribal affairs. The government at the time had wanted to go in country called the hinterland. Yep. So that unit was established under the Justice Department to manage tribal affairs. But it has evolved to many names: Ministry of Interior, most recently before the Ministry of Internal Affairs, it was the Ministry of Local Government, Rural Development and Urban Reconstruction, and then all those other things were split from there, and then they called the Ministry of Internal Affairs. But actually the ministry's function, again, as the name changed over the years, the mandate expanded. So just from managing tribal affairs, a lot of activities got added. So right now, it is that ministry that coordinates between central government and local administration. I say local administration, I intentionally say local administration, I'll say why. And it's also the agency that hosts or is the peace building arm of the government of Liberia, because it has the Liberia Peace Building Office, it has the National Peace Ambassador, it has the National Office on Concession Dispute Resolution. So all those are the arms responsible for leading the national roadmap on peace building and reconciliation, working in close partnership with other institutions. It is also that agency that coordinates decentralization, as 2013 or thereabout, when the whole decentralization documentation was put together and launched in 2012, and then it was transitioned from the Governance Commission to the Ministry of Internal Affairs as the lead agency for decentralization. It's also does a lot of things. I mentioned the peace building issue. It's in charge of managing or supervising the counties. So county superintendents.
So it has this very huge responsibility.
So outside foreign affairs, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, when it has to go to anything that is outside foreign affairs, it is a Ministry of Internal Affairs, and outside central government. And now the local government law of 2018 now defines what local government is. You remember I talked about local administration.
Yep.
So local administration, it was just a supported centralized governance. So the minister will be in Monrovia and direct counties what to do. Lawmakers who, to no offense to lawmakers, they will be here and direct what happens in the counties, as well as the judiciary. They will direct what happens in the counties. Okay. So one day, Maryborough says there is first Saturday from in the morning to 10 o'clock. There is no school, no store opening. It's for cleaning. Everybody stays home. It happens everywhere in the country. So somebody comes to Monrovia and sees Saturday evening, all markets, for example, even at ELBC, they leave the market and count the road, you go everywhere happening. Long ago in the past, you will notice that, we're not around, but the history tells us that when you needed a job, you come to Monrovia for somebody to give you letter of employment. If you got a job, you needed to get the cash to pay you come to Monrovia for the pay. Wow. And then if you had the cash in your hand, anywhere in the country, you can buy anything you wanted, you had to come to Monrovia. So Monrovia was like a centralized system. And it's not the entire Monrovia. Yes, it was not the entire Monrovia, but
so Liberia was Monrovia.
and it's not, the suburb, it's not Cinco, it's the Capitol Hill. So everything was happening on decision making was on Capitol Hill. That's why you see the legislature here, you see the executive mansion here, and you see the judiciary there. And the only government institution that was on that Capitol Hill then was the Ministry of Information, because when it comes on the president, Information Ministry says it. So that's how the government then was crafted, and that's how it went until the issue of the war. And people went to Accra, went to Akosomo, went to places, but at the end of the day, they said, according to documentation, that one of the reasons why they went to war was marginalization. People were marginalized, although all the resources in country are from the counties, but the few elite in Monrovia enjoyed the benefits thereof. Decision was centralized. So you see, during the war, you see, if even you were noted for working for government, even you were the least, once you were working for government, you will be affected. You ought to be killed or something because of the mindset of and as a result of that, all laws, mainly Liberia, supported centralized governance system. So look at the Public Financial Management law of 2009, which was restated in 2019. It says, without restating the verbatim, in some way it says all monies collected in Liberia is collected by the LRA. Everywhere is collected by LRA, and then it is put into one basket called the general revenue. And to use that money is only by the legislature through the national budget. So you have the county service centers collecting, generating funding. Everything has to come to Monrovia before Monrovia sends. Whatever Monrovia decides, you get that one. There is no law.
Even though you're doing the work.
Everything. So as things went by, and the local the national policy on decentralization, local governance was launched in 2012 by the former president Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. It then gives the platform for doing a lot of things. Number one, to share certain powers, fiscal, administrative, and political powers with local government. So then we did the local government law, then the establishment of county service centers, on fiscal decentralization. There is county treasuries, and a lot has happened. So that sets the basis for decentralization. So where we are going now is a leap from local administration to local governance. Local governance, meaning certain decisions will be made in another county that would not necessarily be in another county. So for example, ordinances that will be made by, for example, city ordinance of Monrovia should not be the city ordinance of Buchanan, for example. So, or Banga, or Sanikole, or Vonjima. So we are trying to make sure that, for example, city ordinances are specific. There are some general
in their own context.
Yes,
not just Monrovia dictating to Buchanan what city ordinance interpretation should be.
Very good.
So as times went by, I understand the rationale behind all this local government. The idea is not to give rise to reasons for the war, right? You know, why people fought the war, because of marginalization, is to remove that. It's not to give reason for that war again. Now, as we speak, you people are in authorities now at the Ministry of Internal Affairs that spearheading all these, you know, initiatives.
Yeah.
Where are we with them? I mean, I understand that there was an orientation in Ganta. Tell us about that.
So, for example, the Public Financial Management Law has been restated, and it says it has been amended in 2022 to enable decentralization. The Revenue Code has been amended in 2022 to enable fiscal decentralization. There is now a revenue sharing law to say right that funding is generated at the county level, what is left there, the percentage thereof, specifically to county service centers. I think most recently you heard in July 4, the president talk about 40%. That is in the revenue sharing law that said 40% of amount generated at the county service center should be left there for the operation. And a lot has happened. So what you talk about the orientation.
Yep.
The orientation is a result of several activities that have happened over the last since I think March, since our minister, Honorable Francis Yumale Senior, Francis Akila Yumale Senior took over along with his deputies and assistant ministers. One thing that was done was we did an assessment of the entire country. And it was not Ministry of Internal Affairs alone, looking at a whole of government approach. We had all agencies involved in decentralization. We divided the country into 5 counties per region, and they all went out, some 10 days, some 7 days, depending on the distance, and they came out with a report. The report from the county, in essence, says there is a lot to do. So, for example, the county service centers, since the opening in 2015, 16, 17, 2016 actually, when they first were opened in June 30 in Buchanan, after the last opening in Monserrado on December 2017, the equipment that were purchased, for example, computers and others, since the inception, they have never been replaced or so. You know, these things have lifespan. So as a result, the service centers are there, but are not giving the services as they ought to be. County administrations, the new administrations, you know, there are new nomenclatures now in the law that says there's only one superintendent in the county. The rest are officers, and it's intentional so that everyone is technician and does the work they're supposed to do. So now you have a county development officer, county administrative officer, you have county finance officer.
That used to be the fiscal superintendent.
Yeah, you do have county assistant superintendent of development, county assistant superintendent of fiscal affairs, county inspector. All those have been changed now to officers intentionally. So those people, assessment show that many of them have not worked in those offices before. Some have not worked in government office. There's an issue of personnel, hiring, firing, and replacement, and all of that. There is an issue of compliance with PPCC law. There is an issue of a lot of things. For example, asset declaration, and even understanding the rules and responsibility. So the minister decided, as a result of that, to have an orientation. The orientation could not have taken place anytime better, because we were still looking up to the executive mansion to complete the appointment of county, the most senior people that I just mentioned. So now they have all, I think the last was Margibi, that was just completed just the week before we had the orientation. So having been assured that those higher layers of people that went there in the orientation were already appointed and in place, being after confirmation appointed, the minister decided to have this orientation. So the orientation had the minister himself, the deputy ministers, the assistant ministers, heads of programs that I just mentioned, Peace Building Office and the concession, the National Peace Ambassador, all 15 county superintendents, all 15 county administrative officers, the county development officers, all 15 of them were there, the county finance officer, all 15. Then also at the county level, there are all units that we have to deal with based on the local government law. For example, the county councils. There are 9 per county, but at this time we brought the chairs.
Okay.
So 15 of them were there. The county service center coordinators, 15 of them were there. You also have personnel analysts. Every time chief now on payroll, a lot of things are happening. So we brought them up on board as well. Then the 15 county capital city mayors were there, along with the chiefs. 45 of them, 3 per county were there, and I'll go in detail on how we got 3. And then we have the Ministry of Internal Affairs directors were there, because the minister thought that it was an orientation was like a TOT, training of trainers. So the directors will now go out, to do training, to conduct workshops and others. So they needed to be there because we have experts that came, different layers of people. So that was started at on Sunday, and it went well. We want to say thank you on behalf of the Minister of Internal Affairs. In fact, the Minister of Internal Affairs wants me to extend his thanks to His Excellency, President Joseph Yuma Boakai Senior, for the support to our activities, our initiatives. Right now, the president was able to send the vice president of the republic, who hosted a reception dinner for us on where I call Kumpa, the Kum Farm, the vice president's farm. All of us were there. In fact, he was at the opening. Senator Prince Moi was also there. The Nima caucus represented by the co-chair, and of course, Honorable Jan Flomo were both of them were there, and a lot of other senior government officials, they went there. So it was a whole week of training, and if you don't mind, I can talk about some of the topics that were discussed.
Of course.
So, for example, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, we had public sector specialist Dr. Yaso Wedoli, who talked about decentralization and local governance as a vehicle for Liberia's transformation. He laid the basis on what how it came about, where we are now, and what the law seeks to achieve. You have the acting Minister of Finance and Development Planning, Honorable Myers, talk about the entire revenue sharing law and the revenue sharing regulation, because there's a regulation that sets the basis for implementation of the revenue sharing law. Then I was there as well to present the rules and responsibilities of the various units, layers of local government, including the county council. And then we'll talk about the bill establishing the Ministry of Local Government. There is another transition part of this entire decentralization that is taking the Ministry of Internal Affairs now will be transitioned to the Ministry of Local Government. The bill is now with the legislature. Okay. The bill is now with the legislature. They are now discussing and debating it. And then the Governance Commission chair, Professor Alaric Tukpa, was there throughout. In fact, he provided us support throughout the presentations. He was there to provide backup. You also have the entire financial processes of the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Our finance office made a presentation. The internal audit, what is it? How is it applicable to local government? The internal audit unit, in fact, the director was there. We also talk about social cohesion. There is this process of school that always happen. The county social cohesion processes were discussed. The county development and social development fund, there was a presentation from the Ministry of Finance. How is it done now? How you can access it, how it can be used, and the processes were presented. You have also the local government payroll and personnel issues. So
because that was a headache for a long time for actors.
Yes,
so how to always complain about their names being removed.
Yes, now
paramount chief, commissioners, and all that.
Yeah. So I'll find out our HR director made a presentation on how because there are some people who are appointed, once they get a green letter, they just, without making reference to the ministry, goes and have party, and there is no way for us to have a document to send a CSA for payment. So he explained all of that, and then we have where the CSA director was gracious enough to send his staff there to make a presentation on, for example, how to go to work, if you are employed, what to do on a daily basis, the attendance, all those little things that make you to either take you from the payroll or to have you on the payroll were explained. Then you have the LACC to come and talk about asset declaration. Somewhere else, so am I supposed to declare asset? Why have I appointed and get nothing and get car? Just a simple way, people asking and get nothing. But then the issue of who should declare, the LACC explained there were interaction, for example, issue of conflict of interest. If I'm in power now and my brother is applying for a contract in the Ministry of Internal Affairs, am I supposed to recuse myself or that whole process? All of that was explained. Then the land authority was there as well to explain land governance for the local government.
I will come there.
Yeah.
It seems as if the Ministry of Internal Affairs has not done well with settling land issues in the counties. But let's look at the rationale behind all of that during the orientation. Because it seems the topics that were covered
over 21 topics. 21 topics.
The topics that were covered are topics reflected in the implementation of the Local Government Act of 2018.
Obviously, yes.
Yeah. Was there a reason for that?
Yes, and I said those appointed or are in position now at the civil service level have not had any knowledge about this or have little knowledge. So this was like an eye opener for them. So to tell you, there's a rule, because just as the few months or few weeks when some people were appointed, we already started hearing about confusion, already starting about jurisdictional overlap. Okay. This person doing my job, this person tried to sideline me. So the intent was to explain each person's function, each official's function, that the minister said he will hold each person now accountable. Even though the law says ignorance of the law excuses no man, but as we are evolving to local governance and setting the base for decentralization, minister wanted to explain to them wanted to make a presentation to them what they're supposed to do, and then that it will now make the minister to hold you responsible if you're not doing that job. So that was the intent. Okay. Yes. To teach to explain to them.
We'll delve more into that.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Vah, Director of Press, Internal Affairs Ministry. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, and verbally my apology to the public of Cameroon. It's really carrying on out there.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
How does it feel leaving from mainstream journalism to now public relations?
It's an opportunity and it's an eye opener that you are able to see. There are a lot of development coming up, especially leaving from mainstream and getting into the governance structure. It helps to make you understand what's really you've been talking about, and it has been a worldwide process. Let me say thanks to the Minister, Honorable Francis Sakila Yumali, who has given me the opportunity to serve Liberia, and the process is on. There have been a lot of development, like my boss, Assistant Minister, when you said this just ended, orientation was very much worldwide activity going on. Imagine first of a kind seeing all superintendents come together at once to see all city mayors coming together at once. It was such a great opportunity to see all of the chiefs come together at once, and we had a chit chat with a lot of them. Some of them said vividly it was actually important for them to come together. Deputy Minister Edward Morba for Research and Development Planning spoke about the county development agenda and its implementation. That is the role to the county development officers. So you had county development officers, personnel analysts, all of those people were into the county there, seeing themselves, reflecting. Some of them, it was right to say it was an orientation, because a lot of them know what they were doing. But then now it's to remind you what you already know. And they were so happy.
It was a refresher. Now let me come to you, Minister. When you now the orientation has taken place and the election has taken place, and by the way, I should be speaking with Chief Arthur Goa in the interview. What happens next now for the ministry? What is the next step, and what are the challenges that the ministry will now be confronted with in the implementation of the Local Government Act?
So that brings me into the theme of our orientation. building a new Liberia through decentralization. We've now set the basis for rolling out decentralization. Just before the orientation, we have reactivated or enhanced our layers of decentralization at the ministry, working with other partners. So, for example, the technical working group on decentralization has been reactivated and may existed, but enhanced with more vigor. So we meet every Monday, last Thursday, and that is the senior level technical staff of the ministries, agencies, and commissions involved in decentralization, and our development partners. We are also enhanced the donor coordination. In fact, we had a donor coordination meeting, so to engage with the donors on what they think and what they do. And one of our first donor coordination, you now imagine, Vavle, that, for example, the World Bank team was saying, "Oh, USAID, we don't know what you are doing," and then USAID, okay, we said we'll meet. So I told them this is a forum. So we are bringing all together, all the partners involved in decentralization in that unit called donor coordination. We also, enhanced AMRO, fire to the process of the board meeting. So the board meeting is the heads of agencies involved in decentralization. We also, since 2014, Madam Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf, former president, chaired the IMCD Interministerial Committee on Decentralization. On July 4, we had the IMCD convened and chaired by His Excellency President Joseph Yuma Boakai. That was another thing. So the president has said he will always be engaged. So we're having IMCD, but this time with president presiding as it ought to be. And then we are engaged with the ministries, agencies, and commissions now to ensure their activities at the county service center are proper, because we noticed that some of these marks, as they are called, ministries, agencies, and commissions, they were given space in the county service center. Some of them have moved out of the county service center for reasons known to them. But in this county service center, let me say, is that unit at the county level that is responsible, that is a one-stop shop for documentation services related to permits, licenses, and certificates. We want to ensure that the county service center provides services related to those. So all agencies of government, all ministries of government, all commissions of government that offer those certificates, those permits, and licenses, they are to be in the county service center. Now, the president directed that everything that required to have the service center functional will be there. We should be there. One of the issues is the issue of signatory powers. So if the service centers are now serving as middlemen, where the coordinator or the staff in there will receive all the paperwork and have to send it back to Monrovia for signing. The President Waka directed that it is not the intent of service center. The intent is when I go there to get marriage certificate, that you stay there.
So the signatures should be there.
It should be there. Whatever we should do, if the head of agency is supposed to share that signatory power with the person in the county, you should ensure that happens. So our next step is to engage.
But are there going to be safeguards so that people don't exploit?
Yes, there will be safeguard. There will be safeguard. There are systems that have been put in place. So, for example, we're trying to do a digital process that will make it easier. But at that, the president directed on July 4 that each agency, ministry, agency, and commission that is offering service at the county service center should ensure whatever legal process, whatever administrative process to ensure the service is provided at the county level and not bringing back to Monrovia. Because, for example, now it's raining. Consider in Grenjide or any other part of the country. Living now, talking about Buchanan that is paved or Banga. Those are the in Sanikore. I think those are the only 3 capital cities that are connected to Monrovia by paved to. Maybe looking at Tottenham. Yes. Yeah. But now the road condition, even you can grade the road, but if it is raining, taking somebody who wants to get a business and either a friend or somebody saw an advertisement that somebody want to kit up, but they want the documentation, business registration, tax clearing. You just need to go to the county service and then obtain it. And the service charter should be there to say when you come back for your service. But everything comes out of Morovia, and when it comes to Morovia, it takes time. At the time the document, the certificate gets back to the county, that contract already been awarded, and then the time for expiration had already started. It frustrates the people, and that was not the intent of the service center. The service center intent was be there in the county, go to the county service center, and they will give you time when you so or come back. So the president has said everyone involved in the sector, decentralization sector, especially at the county service center, should ensure the sanitary power is at the service center. There were two directives he offered. The issue of the sanitary and the one that.
So when do we see the service centers up and running again?
Well, they are up and running, but they are up and running, except for a few like Monserrado that have been heavily undermined by Morovia, and there are other things we discussing how to get it back on par with the other service centers. But we're also working with partners. For example, the World Bank. They have come in with a great project. So we're trying to do digitization of the services and making sure to get some ICT infrastructure. For example, the computers and others that will be bought and placed in there. We are working with other partners, the USAID, in 3 counties and 3 cities to look at the cities. And because there was a presentation, I may not forget, because my deputy minister made a presentation on reforms in the cities. So a lot of things, because the law talk about how to define cities. Now there's now a definition.
I know one county that has so many cities.
Well, no, not only Grenku. There's another city, another county that have more cities than Grenku. Yeah, Sino. You know. So there are more cities than Grenku. Everyone's just talking about Grenku. Yes, but now we are going to that. So those are several other reforms they are going to. This county service center is number one among others. But the minister has said everything that in the law. And there's a commitment, and the commitment at the highest level with the president and I'm sure the legislature, because they made the law, that everything in the local government law will do. That's why the president started with the appointments and NACI Development Superintendent Board in line with the local government law. That's why we ourselves at the ministry, the minister as head, Honorable Imale, saying everything will be required to do decentralization, will do it. That's why we have now at least the support, I can say, the support from the legislature through budgetary allocation. The support for the executive mansion from the executive going to our hosting the IMCD Interministerial Committee hearing directives. Those are commitment that we want, and they are there. So there is no excuse any longer.
Okay, we'll start to make attempt now to speak with Chief Arthur Goa, if you like. But you will talk about the election of the chiefs.
Yes.
Because people are confused. The former chief Zanzan Kao, while people say, was he ousted or removed from the position or here and there? But I mean, let's talk about partnership with community radio to propagate the message of the local government as director of press. What are plans?
There are plans, and there are activities currently ongoing. Remember, the Minister of Internal Affairs have been involved with community radio stations, because information dissemination has to go throughout to the country and to the people. Mind you, in time past, you have always seen that community radio station has been politicized. You find political leaders are the ones who will organize the very radio stations, and at the end result, they propagate their messages at those areas. They preach what they want to hear and not the message for the people. And this has caused a lot of issues in terms of stabilizing peace, conflict resolution. So with the ministry's own efforts, we have been involved with that. Just recently with the Magibi County, remember there were some issues there with the Kakata radio station manager and the superintendent. That matter has been resolved, and there are other issues currently underway with them in order to complete the entire process upon. And we, as a matter of fact, Central Communication with Central Office, are having plans to get in connection with all others, community radio stations, community outlets, from superintendent offices to the mayor offices, so that the right message can be out there to the people, and that we can be preaching peace. Mind you, Liberia has suffered so long with the issue of messages. There have been a misconception with the issue of messages going out. At times, we find these things even create some problems. Some of our issues around the country that have been done with protests, it just boiled down to the kind of message that our people are hearing, what those radio stations are propagating. Mind you, you remember you hear sometime we were in Lofa County, and there were another radio station there, and there were some complaints from the minister that you hear one radio station will link up with Central Morovia, and they will start insulting leaders down to the president. Those things are not called for. So
Okay.
it is our utmost plan. So we'll get involved with that,
Okay.
so that the right message can go out to the people.
Okay, so Mr. Will you just talk us through the process of leading to where we are now with a new chief?
So, thank you very much. So, I will encourage, and like the minister said, we're having a regular radio program very soon on ULBC and other radio stations. In fact, you talk about partnership. We had Aliko going to make a presentation on the rural community radio in our orientation. But the local government law is our basis for everything that you have been hearing about. Chapter 3, I think you have the law there. Chapter 3 of the local government law says the National Council of Chiefs of Liberia is hereby established, repealing the
Council of Chiefs.
National Council of Chiefs.
No
No
elder.
error.
Okay.
The National Council of Chiefs of Liberia is hereby established. In this, repealing the act that created the National Council of Chiefs and Traditional Elders of Liberia of 2012. And the National Council of Chiefs now is to work under the jurisdiction of the minister responsible for local government. And I'm quoting directly what the law says. You can read it if you don't mind. And the law also says to be member of the eligibility, to be member of the Council of Chiefs, the National Council of Chiefs, each county. Are you getting it? They say each county should among themselves, the chiefs in there should elect their chairperson. And that chairperson should be in charge, who should be in charge of his chiefdom. In Liberia, to be in charge of chiefdom, you must be a paramount chief. Yes, there are 3 types of chiefs in Liberia. The general town chief, or you may say the sub chief or local chief. Then you have the general town chief, you get a clan chief and the paramount chief. If you are not town chief or general town chief, you're not clan chief, you're not paramount chief, you're not a chief in Liberia, according to the local government law. So all 15, so the minister, based on what the law says, sent to all counties, instructed all counties that there is a law. So all the chiefs in each county should meet and elect their leadership. So as in the national structure, there is a chair, not chairman, no longer chairman. There is a chair for the Council of Chiefs. There is a vice chair on peace and reconciliation. There is a vice chair on traditional and culture and traditional affairs. So those 3 were elected in each county. But the law says membership, not the other 2, but 1 per county. So you have 15 member Council of Chiefs. The National Council of Chiefs comprises 15 members, 1 per county.
Each chief represents 1 county.
1 county.
Okay.
So it's the law say all 15 of them now should come together and elect their head, which is to be the
Chair of the council.
The chair, the national chair of the Council of Chiefs. So that was done in Banga. It was this misinterpretation of, this person is removed based on my country of origin and all of that. I'm afraid of not saying thing that is not in the law. The law is clear. The law says to be member of the Council of Chiefs, you must come from your county. And to be come from your county, your people in your county should elect you, and you should be a paramount chief. Because the law says be in charge of a chiefdom. Okay. So that what was done. Each county was elected their chief, and then at the orientation, the minister invited them, and to make sure that it's not in some corner so that somebody can say, this one we invited the Civil Society Council of Liberia. They sent a representative, the assistant minister for legal affairs at the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the whole ACO committee, and on the ministry page, everything was live. So for the first time, the chiefs had debate. They had a debate for the election. There was an election for the city mayor council, the superintendent's council. The city mayor went on a result and did a resolution that this is our leadership, no election. Where ballot was done, consensus. The same with the superintendents. When it came to the chiefs, it was difficult, very difficult. We could not. So we said, okay. In fact, so 4 chiefs applied to be chair, and they had a debate. It's all on internet on the MIA page. And all of journalists were there. It was open. Integrity Watch, other civil society organizations were all there. It was open to the public. They had a debate
because this is the implementation of this
law. That's the local government law. So the law now has produced the new chair for the Council of Chiefs.
So just to hold you there.
Yeah.
the implementation of this law is closely being monitored by the international partners.
Of course. That is why in
civil society.
That's why I think 2019 or so, 2020, 2021, the civil society in Bon County took the Ministry of Internal Affairs to court for not implementing the local government law to be always begin county sitting. Right? So, and the Supreme Court ruled that local government law is where we're supposed to go by, and strictly we want to establish county councils. That we are saying recording on all stakeholders.
So that was just a partial implementation of the law.
That was part of it. So right now we have implemented Chapter 3. The Ministry of Internal Affairs, I can say, has implemented Chapter 3 of the local government law by bringing now the chairperson and the leadership of the National Council of Chiefs. The law also says the leadership
implement Chapter 3, or you implement holistically the law itself?
No, I just saying what have been implemented. So I mean what have been done.
Okay.
So the Chapter 2 with the training and part of it, the naming of those people at the local government law we are done. Next is to establish units. So now local government, I think I talk about administration and government, right?
Yeah.
Local government is now the Ministry of Finance in central administration here on Broad Street. It's in central government. Okay. Once it gets in the county, it's in the local government.
So go back to the chief election.
Now. So that's how the election was done. Mm-hmm. So now the chiefs have a new leadership. But the law also says that head of the chief and his leadership did not sit in Monrovia. The law says you will be in your chiefdom and work from there because you are the chiefdom, you are the paramount chief there. So they will be in their chiefdom, and we are happy and thank the President, His Excellency Joseph Yima Boakai, for inducting the chiefs. The leadership, along with the city mayor and the superintendent council leadership, that was done. And then thank again to the President. He went and provided transportation, one pickup to the chair of the Council of Chiefs to start movement. And the minister has said the government will ensure to empower all units, whether that mobility, whatever way that will make decentralization work. Remember, building a new Liberia through decentralization. So that chief election is over now. We now have a new leadership.
Please, clarify this. No chief that we all know before to be Chief Zanzan Kaur was removed from the position.
No. In fact, it was in 2018 as a result of this law.
Let me just come in a little bit. When this law was being passed, approved, signed by the former President George Weah at the time, that day it's in November at about 2 minutes after 11, the chief who was head of the Traditional Council of Elders ceased to exist. Okay. Thereby bringing to being the Council of Chiefs.
Okay.
And a more to that.
Yeah. So I want to give you the signature. This is a local government law. The people that signed the lawyer, Senator Abachi, the Secretary of the Senate, the President of Liberia. This is since 2018. So there was no removal.
Yeah.
There's no removal. This is the law that we are going by.
No, but once this law was not implemented from 2018 until now, that person who was there still functioned.
Until now, until when?
Until the election was held.
So now we have a commitment to implement the law.
Yeah.
And each sector, Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, up to Chapter 10, they are being implemented. That's why even Chapter 8 talk about land management. Where people say, oh, everything about land now is in the county. That brought the chair of the land authority to say there's no survey that should be done in the city for public land without the city mayor consent. So we are making sure to bring the law.
So Chief Arthur Goa will serve for how many years?
It's 2 years.
2 years.
And the law said 2 years. And the law also make it very regional balanced. It said once Chief Arthur Goa has been elected now, after 2 years in May election, he cannot contest. Until it goes around the 15 counties, all 15 counties. Yes, before he can, if he wants to again, or anybody from Bon County. Nobody after 2 years can in Bon County can contest for chairperson for Council of Chiefs. That's what the law says. You have to go around. Yes, and they will be residing there. And also the law call for a county, the Council of Chiefs Support Office. That I group that will be that the secretary.
I will have law to him. I'm talking to him. Yeah, because and one of these days I will bring him.
You are talking about the election. Let me just go back a little bit. You are talking about election, like the assistant minister said. It was such an interesting occasion. You imagine you had Chief Bokofi Zah for Riverside County, a tough talking chief. You remember he served as the spokesperson of the past council. Then Nelson Neal of Maryland County, a paramount chief. Then Arthur Goa. It was so tense, and they had to debate. Imagine, like the assistant minister said. They said, let's go ahead. They said, no, we won't debate. Yeah, I can
The chief debating.
I can more chief Ato Gua saying, you ask me any question, I will answer that. So it was so interesting.
And Chief, interestingly, he speaks very sound
Chief in
English.
Liberia, they are administrative head of Chiefdom, of Clan and General Town. I see a lot of misconception that the chief should be flying, the chief should not get birthdays. It's not true. Like they're the superintendent. The superintendent is the head of the county. He is the head of the chiefdom. All security matter, all personnel matter, all public matter in that chiefdom, he is the head for it. So now about the perception that's going on.
Should be traditionally strong.
Well, there are traditional leaders at the county level. Yes, the traditional leaders are there at the county level. The chief is the administrative head for all of them. Even though you have to be, inclined, but it's not necessarily because you'll be elected. What was held is not chieftaincy election. Let me get it clear. The Constitution of Liberia says that the chieftaincy election is not what was held. Chieftaincy election is the citizens of Liberia electing their chief.
One of these.
This one is just like, let me just say, Favle. This one just like the lawmakers have been elected. They go to Capitol Hill to elect their speaker, their pro tem. That was what was held.
Okay, if we mind the discussion, we would not take us.
You will not know that chief
already out of time.
Chief Ato Gua graduated from BWI in 1978. Yeah, that's why I see very articulate.
Chief Ato Gua will be guest of this show soon, very, very soon. He's very articulate. I just want to know his vision, for the council. But call us on 0770581886, 0770581886, and be live. This is ELBC, the Super Morning Show. We have Assistant Internal Affairs Minister for Research and Development Planning, Emmanuel Wanyu, and Nathaniel Va, the Director of Press. We will take just 3 calls. Good morning.
Wow.
Good morning, my brother.
Yeah, quickly. We don't have time.
Yeah, this is Oboro Kane calling you from Vietnam community.
Yeah.
You see, it was so good for the people from the internal affairs and enter in the queue to get the information to the public. Sometimes people say that a theory of precision, how the other side issue and how other people think it to them. But a good time, the administration should take that initiative and be giving the update to the public. It's very more important. So people will change their own locality, how come on and be the rule and guideline, and they are give out, and they are all happy and return to the broadcasting with their chief. So all people who say that now give all kind of information, how they have been removed and before the political move, because they listen to you and they don't want to follow information that will benefit them.
Thank you. Morning. Good morning. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead quickly.
Yeah, thank you. This is Mutio Akov from Fayetteville.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thanks to your studio guests, more especially to Nathaniel Va. I'm one of those who follow his work at the information at the ministry there. I want to thank them for the level of work and the level of reform they are brought in the traditional area of our country. And thanks for the election of the team. The other state guests said that first time for all superintendents to meet. We've seen so level of unity coming into our local government. We ask them to continue to put support there because the local government also help the government functioning.
Okay, thank you. Morning. Good morning.
I'm Professor Namajan calling.
Yeah, quickly.
I want to know with this new setup that you are talking about, what become of the chief headquarters that was built?
Okay. Yeah, the headquarters, Camp Johnson Road. Okay. Yeah. So, Mr. When you can.
So, the law says the headquarters is the chief headquarters called the chief compound. And we have the law says there should be.
And the law is saying that this Chief Gua should work from
his chiefdom.
From his chiefdom.
Yes, work from chiefdom.
Who works there?
So who works there is the chief support office. There's a support office, and the law is clear. There should be a executive director. There's a finance officer. There are analysts on traditional culture and traditional affairs. There's an analyst on peace and reconciliation. There are civil servants. Whenever the chiefs come to town, they go to that building. And that building, the chief cannot come to town and be looking for a room everywhere. So each in our building there are units in that building that get the room for chief. Each 15 of them should have a room there. They say when you come, you go live there. You stay there for the time. Everything is there for you. Yes, and the minister just announced yesterday.
Building ready.
No, it got. But I think that building since Tobot administration.
Yeah, but
during the war,
it has everything.
During the war, it got
so that are there plans to fix it?
Yes, the minister announced yesterday when the chief was introduced to the building that the president, the governor of Liberia, has made a commitment to maybe for now in the next 6 months or so to renovate the building holistically. Because the Chief Zanzan, credit to him, he made an effort to move in there. Because they were on the full street, and he tried hard with the government of Liberia. They did partial renovation. So right now we're going to do an entire renovation of the building to ensure that it represents what the chief's supposed to be.
Okay. And Vavle, before going, a lot of the time when you come from outside, you enter government, they say you're not changed. Let me assure the public, you are invited to log on our page, the Ministry of Internal Affairs page. Whatever going to happen, going to be there. We are going to say exactly what happened and nothing else.
Okay. Thank you
So much. I want to say thanks to our hardworking minister, Honorable Yumale, and his team.
The minister traveling too much. The minister getting playing too much.
No, we are there for something. There are a lot of things. The minister
is internal affairs, that interior.
Listen, the minister is a board chair for the NRO. Right now, there are reforms in the National Identification Registry. The minister was invited to make sure to see that what comes to Liberia for citizen ID card is good. Okay. So that's what he's doing. He went to China for the Africa Local Government Conference. So those are travels that are intentional.
Striking partnership.
Yes. Right now we have a partnership with the Guangdong University for international university to ensure training for our local government officers. Okay. Those are things we're working on.
Thank you so much. I mean, we'll have to do part 2 of this, but I'll have to do it with Chief Arthur Goa, the chair now of the National Council of Chiefs, right? Yes. My name is Vafle Kamara. D. Emmanuel Wonyu is the Assistant Internal Affairs Minister for Research and Development Planning. Nathaniel Va, Director of Press, Ministry of Internal Affairs. My name is Vafle Kamara. Join me tomorrow for another presentation. Bye-bye.